The rain tasted of ash. Silas spat, wiping his mouth with the back of a gloved hand. The Packard's engine remained stubbornly silent, a monument to his misfortune. Oakhaven, looming beyond the veil of downpour, felt less like a refuge and more like a trap. He glanced at Elias, who sat beside him, unnervingly still. His face, usually animated with nervous energy, was a pale mask, his eyes vacant and distant. "Something's not right, Elias," Silas muttered, more to break the silence than expecting a response. The villagers had been unsettling. Their smiles were too wide, their movements too synchronized. Their offer of assistance with the Packard felt rehearsed, their concerns superficial. He's seen kindness, but this was something else entirely, a chilling mimicry of humanity. He's made his decision. An impulse, born of a gut feeling he couldn't ignore, drove him to abandon the village's offer and plunge into the dense, rain-soaked woods bordering Oakhaven. The darkness was absolute, the air thick with the scent of damp earth and something else, something ancient and indefinable. The forest seemed to twist around him, the trees themselves leaning in, their branches gnarled and twisted like grasping claws. Just as he thought he might be lost, a clearing materialized ahead. In the center stood a stone building, its architecture bizarre and alien, defying any recognizable style. It looked as if it had grown organically from the earth itself. He hesitated, a sense of dread washing over him, but the need to understand what was happening to Elias propelled him forward. He pushed open the heavy stone door, its hinges groaning in protest, and stepped inside. The interior was even more unsettling than the exterior. A vast circular chamber stretched before him, lined with portraits that seemed to shift and writhe in the dim light. Their eyes followed him, silent witnesses to his intrusion. A shattered music box lay in the center of the room, its fragments scattered across the cold stone floor. A figure emerged from the shadows, tall and gaunt, his eyes hollow and black. This was the Caretaker, the silent orchestrator of Oakhaven's unsettling calm. "Silas Harding," the Caretaker said, his voice a low, resonant hum. "We've been expecting you." "Expecting me? What is this place? What have you done to Elias?" Silas demanded, his hand instinctively reaching for the Colt revolver tucked into his coat. The Caretaker smiled, a slow, unsettling curve of his lips. "You are a key, Silas, a vital component in a grand design." "A grand design? I don't understand." "The veil is thinning, Silas. The Ancient Ones are stirring. Their return is inevitable unless—" the Caretaker paused, letting his words hang in the air. "Unless we prepare." He gestured towards Elias, who remained seated and perfectly still. "He is a conduit, a vessel through which the energies will flow. He is evolving." Silas felt a cold dread settle in his stomach. He looked at Elias, seeing a subtle change in his features, the unsettling stillness that wasn't entirely his own. A faint, ethereal glow emanated from his skin. "What do you want from me?" Silas asked, his voice tight with apprehension. "Join us, Silas. Embrace your role. Help us to protect this world from the return. Prevent the chaos. Help us to preserve the balance." The Caretaker extended a skeletal hand. "Join Oakhaven." The rain hammered against the stone walls, a relentless drumbeat against the silence. Silas looked at the Caretaker's outstretched hand, then at Elias, and finally back at the portraits that lined the chamber, their eyes fixed upon him. He thought of his life, of his purpose, of the world he knew. He thought of the villagers' smiles, of the unsettling calm that permeated Oakhaven, of the ancient evil that seemed to lie just beneath the surface. He weighed his options. Accept the Caretaker's invitation and become a guardian of a world he barely understood, or refuse and risk unleashing something terrible upon humanity. I need time to consider," Silas said, stalling for a moment, desperately trying to formulate a plan. The Caretaker's smile widened. "Of course, Silas. Time is a luxury we can afford." He inclined his head slightly. "But know this, the choice is not yours alone to make. The threads of fate are already woven, and you, Silas Harding, are a crucial part of the tapestry." Silas turned his gaze back to Elias, a silent plea for understanding in his eyes. Elias didn't respond, his expression utterly blank, his body almost translucent in the ethereal light. Suddenly, the doors to the chamber slammed shut with a resounding echo, plunging the room into near darkness. A chorus of voices rose from the shadows, chanting in a language that was both ancient and alien. Silas felt a presence surrounding him, cold and watchful, a sense of being trapped and utterly powerless. He gripped the Colt tighter, his knuckles white. He didn't know what the future held, but he knew one thing: his life had changed forever. He was caught in a web of ancient secrets and cosmic horrors, and he had no idea how to escape. The chanting intensified, growing louder and more frenzied. Silas closed his eyes, bracing himself for whatever was about to come. He felt a strange pull, a sensation of being drawn towards something vast and unknowable, a feeling that he was losing himself in the darkness. Then, as abruptly as it began, the chanting stopped. The doors creaked open, revealing the rain-swept clearing and the watchful eyes of the Oakhaven residents standing silently in the shadows. The caretaker stepped forward, his smile wider than ever. "Welcome, Silas Harding," he said. "You have made your choice.